Everyone God has created, God has called all of us. This issue of I'm not called, please check what is making that noise and fix it. I am not called, I am not called. I don't understand where that thing is coming from. Everyone has been called. And I'd like for you to understand that there are no inferior calling. No calling is inferior. No calling. The apostle is not higher or stronger than the evangelist. We have seen men who answer apostles. We have seen men who answer evangelists. The apostles couldn't stand where the evangelist stood. Whether you are bishop, archbishop, pope, professor, whatever it is. Even if you don't use your title, I'm sure we are aware that pastor, bishop, these things are title. That doesn't mean you're born again. So anybody can wake up and take the title. A witch doctor can wake up and remove the witch and put reverend. It becomes what? Reverend doctor. That's the title. That's the title. So there are no inferior calling. And I like to establish that you are only safe in your place of calling. You are only safe in your place of calling. Trying to do what God has not asked you to do will be putting your life at risk. So you are only safe in your place of calling. You know, the Bible said he gave them talent. He gave 1, 5, 3, 1. The Bible said he gave them according to their what? Ability. According to their ability. I will talk on that some other time. I also want to establish that God didn't call you to be popular. God called you to make impact. God did not call you to be popular. God called you to make impact. If your aim is to become popular, you have already failed from start. If your aim in ministry is to become popular, you have already failed from start. God didn't call us to be popular, he called us to make impact. It is a sense of popularity that makes people put their hands and do things they are not supposed to do. When it is dawned on you that you are called to make impact, location will not be a challenge. Location will not be a challenge. The reason we abandon where God have assigned us to. As I'm talking now, some pastors in Owerri now are praying for God to give them open in Abuja. Because they feel that is where it is happening. And can I tell you something? If they dare enter Abuja, they will not last. They will not last. Because their sense of understanding is popularity and not to make impact. If you understand that you have been called to make impact, it doesn't matter where you are, you can make impact from there. It doesn't matter where you are, you can make impact from there. And that is going to be my teaching this evening on impact. Impact. Making impact in ministry, in life, in business, in whatever you do. Making impact. I want to say so many things about making impact, but looking at the time, our time is gone. So let me just share with us 2 keys that will help us make impact in life and in ministry. Please follow me very well as God will help us. Number 1 is discipline. Number 1 is discipline. One of your sole responsibility to making impact is the ability to discipline yourself. It does not matter how anointed you are. It does not matter how gifted you are. If you fail to discipline yourself, you will fail in life and fail in ministry, fail in everything you do. Without discipline, you become a destitute. Irrespective of the magnitude of the star God has deposited in you. It is not about what God has put in you. It is about how you are able to discipline yourself. Any young minister who depends on gift to stand out will fail. Let me say this. Gift is very minimal in our walk with God. The gift. That gift that is getting you crazy is let me use the word, almost insignificant. What makes that gift become, have worth or have value is the ability to be able to discipline yourself. Discipline is ordained by God to direct us and not to restrict us. Discipline is ordained by God to direct us and not to restrict us. It is ordained by God to extend us and not to limit us. Those who enjoy discipline will endure the challenge of life. Those who enjoy discipline will endure the challenges of life. I like this one. Discipline prepares you for what God has prepared for you. Discipline prepares you for what God has prepared for you. We have seen great men of God, anointed men, people who were highly anointed, but they ended as nothing because they failed to discipline themselves. Discipline is a control value of your destiny. Discipline is a control value of your destiny. There is what God has put in every man. There is a grace, there is a star in you. There is something God has put in the inside of you. God didn't create anybody empty. God didn't create anybody useless. It is not God that decides if the star will shine or not. It is not God that decides if the grace will speak or not. It is your ability to discipline yourself that decides if the grace will speak or if the star will shine. I have seen people in this work there was a young man when I said ministry, when I was very young. He followed me, full of fire. Full of fire. I enjoyed, anytime he's around me, I pray more. If he's not around me, I can't pray more than 1 hour. This young man can make me pray for 5 hours. So because I discovered it was a strength in him, I always want to be around him so that I can increase my muscle in the place of prayer. How the devil sniffed this guy. Today is in the village, Weston. He's still alive. What's in the village? Grace gone, anointing gone, into alcohol, smoking, because he failed to discipline himself. Discipline is doing as required, not as desired or convenient. Discipline is doing as required, not as desired. Discipline makes you responsible, and indiscipline makes you a liability. Discipline makes you responsible. Indiscipline makes you a liability. Let me begin to bring this in now. As a young minister, when last did you tithe? When last did you tithe? You go and sing. After singing, they gave you an envelope. Please, take this. Your team should know that before an envelope is touched, God has to be settled. Once they give you the envelope, boy, I'm going to carry the money. Boy, share the money. 40, 60. Boys will take 40 or whatever, you will take 60. Number one, you have failed. Before the money is shared, tithe should be removed. Your boys should know this. That is a route to making impact. Some young pastors here, you go for a program, you scatter everywhere, put everywhere on fire. Man of God, the Lord bless you. Take this envelope. As soon as you left, you enter Mr. Biggs. Now let me chill down. You enjoy yourself. You fail to tithe. Let me tell you one of the concepts of tithing. Tithing is not just giving 10%. Tithing should be the first thing you do from the money before you do anything from that money. Because Bible says he is the first. If you tamper with that money first and tithe, I put it to you, you never tithed. You never tithed. The principle of the first is that everything first belongs to God. Everything first belongs to him. If not that we are there's video going on, I would have called some persons here out and asked them when last they tithed. With the fire in them. Fire. Tithing has become a problem. Now, the truth of the matter, you know that you should tithe, but you are unable to tithe. Why? You have failed to discipline yourself in that area. Yet you want to make impact. When you see people rise in life, don't envy their glory. Ask of their story. There are people you have more fire. There is more fire in you than the fire in them. But they are commanding more result than you. You carry much more grace. You speak Queen's English. You are good eloquently. But the result they are commanding, you can't command it. Even with the fight, you can pray for 10 hours. I was shocked when I heard Billy Graham said he has never fasted before. Billy Graham. He has never fasted. He said the day he tried to do 3 days fasting, he wanted to die. He had to rush and eat. How many of you know Billy Graham? The father of revival. This is a problem. Ministers are having problem. Or the area ministers are having problem. We don't want to discipline ourselves in little things like this. And those little things decide the impact you make. Discipline. Discipline. When you fail to discipline yourself in these areas, the limit of the strength of your impact will reduce. Let me forget about tithing. I'm talking about discipline. Some of you ministers here, you gossip a lot. Somebody will stay 5 minutes with you. Everything happening in Owerri, you have handed over to the person. Just 5 minutes with you. Just 5 minutes. I know where Chidex. I know where he slept last week Tuesday. Just 5 minutes with you. What I did not ask you. Just 5 minutes. Gossip. You need to discipline the way you talk. Do you know as little as gossip is, it can ruin your ministry? I may decide to give you platform. I may decide to help you to rise. But when there are weaknesses no great man will overlook. Are you hearing me at all? There are weaknesses no great man will overlook. And one of those weaknesses is gossip. You went for a program. Instead of you to go to your seat or go to a place, I have sons and daughters in this church. When they travel out, they don't go to another church. One sent message to me that even 31st night, please, somebody should get my phone. Somebody should get my phone from my office. That even 31st night, every other person left the house. She was the only one that stayed and followed us online. Follows online. Impact. Impact does not come by noise making. Does not come by noise making. You go to a program, people fall under anointing. That is the one you post online. What is your aim? The strength of administration is not in how many people that fell under the anointing. It is in how many lives your administration was able to transform. Was able to transform. Ebuka, get mic quickly. We are talking on influence. Read this message. Just read it. I want you to listen.
Hallelujah. Good evening, Daddy. Daddy, I was thinking since I'm far, depending till when I enter Owerri, I could join this department and basically check up on new members through WhatsApp messages by knowing how their day was and reminding them of either midweek service or Sunday service. Since I'm basically most times online, I don't know if that could help. I don't know if that would be nice. I just want to be working from a distance. Daddy, Eziokum Nile, I have not attended another church since I left Owerri. Even crossover night, I worshipped with the Arena of Champions online. I was the only one in the whole compound that was at home. Daddy, the thing is, when I realized that it's not Arena of Champions that I'm going, I just tire.
Impact.
That's why I choose to be sending my offerings monthly, because I'm not putting it anywhere. So Daddy, please, can I join this group as my service to God? Bikona.
Impact. Go and plug it back. Impact. Lives transformed when you are able to minister, either in songs or in word. We need to be listening to ourselves as ministers. I'm telling you, the problem is not that you are not graced. The problem is that you have failed to discipline yourself in some certain areas. Some ministers lie. They even lie on the pulpit. They share testimonies of what never happened. How? Last week I was preaching in Aba, and the power of God picked up a woman. If you are here, the power of God will pick you up. Get a seed up to 2,000. Oh, sorry. It doesn't last. It doesn't last. Discipline is subjecting yourself to the demands of your task. Discipline is subjecting yourself to the demands of your task. I take it again. Discipline is subjecting yourself to the demands of your task. So if the demand, or if your task demand that every 1 hour you must study the Bible, you must read the scripture every 1 hour, even when NEPA brings light and they are showing your favorite program, you turn off the television and face what you are doing. Subject, every task has a demand. If it demands that every 1 hour you will rehearse, every day, it does not matter what wants to come in play. You make sure that you meet that task and rehearse. And rehearse. Discipline. Subjecting yourself to the demand of your task. Say, pastor, you don't read. What so many pastors do now is to duplicate people's sermon. They watch online, carry their message, come and preach it. Word to word. Even they give you the same topic. The same topic. Why? You are lazy to study. You are lazy to study. The level of impact you make is tied to your level of discipline. The level of impact you make is tied to your level of discipline. We see from Genesis 39 how Joseph was highly disciplined. Highly disciplined. His discipline eventually took him to the palace. How disciplined he was. Do you know what it means? Boy, lie with me. Just sleep with me. I will make you CSO. CSO. Hi. Do you know, because of the lack of discipline, Satan has succeeded in cheating so many people and taking what God has given to you in exchange for peanut? Somebody was carrying the anointing for a global mandate, and somebody is offering him CSO, Chief Security Officer, when he was carrying the grace to become the head of state. If not for discipline, he would have slept with the woman, became CSO, and loses the head of state. Discipline. It is discipline that makes you to say no when necessary. It is discipline that makes you say no when required. Until you learn how to say no, you can't be known. You can't. Discipline. Until you learn how to say no, you can't be known. Discipline. Discipline is painful, oh, but the gain will always compensate the pain. That's a problem with this generation. We don't want to say no. In 2008, I went to South Africa to preach with Reverend Dr. Mobai. I was a guest in that program. He too was a guest. In Durban, in a city called Durban. I preached and he was to round up the program. The day he was to start his own program, he felt sick. The host pastor called me. We are about 3 pastors that came from Nigeria for that meeting. And I was supposed to go somewhere else for another program. He called me and said, please, Papa Oma said he can't come. And from between you and the other person has ministered, you are the only one that can replace Papa Oma a bit. That was his word. Please, sir. I told him I don't have a problem, but if you can call the people I was supposed to preach for and you have an agreement with them, I can't disappoint them. He called them and they agreed. And I can miss one day and come the last day. I won't forget that meeting. That day, the church was crowded. It was first floor. The staircase, people were there because they had Papa Oma was coming that day. It happened that Papa Oma didn't come. The pastor managed to announce it and say, well, Bishop is on ground. People started leaving. I could see those who attended there, I preached, telling them, come back, oh, this man carries something. Oh. They said, Nahapumalalam, Igbo guys. It was an embarrassment. I began to sing Papa Oma's song. Onye ukero wa ana mekele gyo, ono mu juru nekele. Ebi merendo foromo, ono mu juru. I was singing it the way he sings it. Ana mekele gi wo wo wo. I added those things. I could see those who were leaving started coming back. And I believed what they wanted to do. Let us just give this man a listening ear. Ladies and gentlemen, today I can't tell what God did in that meeting. There's a boy, a young man from Mbise. His name is Jim Baz from Mbise. Jim Baz came to give testimony. You know his testimony? He said, I'm thanking God that I attended this meeting. That this is the first time I fell under anointing. That was his testimony. He said when the team broomed, he went to a pillar and hurt himself. He said he didn't even know when he fell. He only saw himself, woke up, he was on the ground. The power of God shook the place. Testimonies, one man that was in that meeting, the police had taken his car. They seized his car for over 1 year. He had given up, he bought a new one. Right in the meeting, police called him and told him, come and collect your car. It was a tsunami. So what happened? God used that meeting to announce me in the city of Durban. Listen. I'm telling you, I'm teaching you on discipline. Any mall I enter to go and buy things, before I will finish buying, people are struggling to pay. A young man met me, his name is Emma. He said, prior to my arrival, he has been in South Africa for 6 years. Nothing is working. But after my ministration, God gave him an opening in China. That he'll be going to China the following week. He said, when am I going? I said, I'm going. He said, please don't go, sir. Wait for me to go and come back. A man went to a place called South Beach and rented an apartment for me. Paid for the apartment. Filled food everywhere. I said, please don't go, sir. My visa was a 3 months visa. I ended up staying 8 months in South Africa. Listen. Everywhere, my name was everywhere. Igbo boys and all that. Next thing I had, some of them, about 7 of them became big boys. God had helped him. Man is doing big things. They said, I'll start a church. Listen, so I'll start a church. We are going to pay for hall. We are going to pay for equipment. We are going to be taking care of you and all that. We can't let you go back to Nigeria. That this kind of grace, we need it in South Africa. That's when South African pastors are into drugs and all that. Do you know what I told them? I said, no. They say, why? I said, I can't start a church in the same city. In the same city where I was hosted by my friend. Discipline. Second. This man hosted me. If not for him, you guys wouldn't have known me. If not for him, you wouldn't have met me. He gave me platform all the way from Nigeria. He had not even had me preach. He took risk. And I finished preaching. And you expect me? There is no way I will start church in this city that his members will not leave him and follow me. That's how I will not. Unless I go to another state. They said, okay, that they have a place. There's a place called Pine Town. Pine Town is like 1 hour from Durban. They said, can you stay in Pine Town? I said, wait, let me consult him. Discipline. I called the pastor. I said, do you know Pine Town? He said, yes, 1 hour from here. I said, okay, see what is happening. Some young men want me to start a walk in Pine Town. They wanted me to start here, but I said, I can't start because of you. And if I start in Pine Town, will it affect you? He said, excuse me. He said, he's not spoken Igbo. He said, Bishop, it's Niwo Igbo. I said, yes. It's Niwo Igbo. Itronali Igbo. I said, yes. So this is the very first time I am seeing an Igbo man think the way you think. We went out. He took me out. We went, we ate. He now started telling me how some pastors came from Nigeria. He said one came. They just gave him mic to say, greet the church. To say, praise the Lord. Just greet church. That was it. Said, giving prophecy. And they didn't know that while he was giving prophecy, he had complimentary card printed from Nigeria he came with a South African number. So South Africa at that time, the prophetic was very new. So they were not used to that dimension. So after service, people now mobbed him. Say, call me. That was I said ministry. He had laid a pattern. Tomorrow, somebody will come and greet his church. And it will not be one, it will be like 10. They will greet his church and they will pack his people. Young ministers, ladies and gentlemen, please, I beg, if you want to stand out, learn to say no. There's a place in Proverbs that says, when you find too much honey, don't take too much of it. Else, you will throw out. You will throw up rather. That is not everything you say yes to. When you discover that saying yes to this thing will affect your brother, say no to it. Say no to it. When you know that if you say yes to this deal, my brother will lose out in the ministry, say no, I'm not accepting. Learn to value relationship on the wings of discipline. I called my chief protocol this afternoon. We are somewhere yesterday. We went for a program. So a man of God was in town, went to see him. So the man of God was telling me what another man of God did to him. A big man of God. So he told me that he went to preach for the man. The man has a very wealthy member in his church. So that wealthy member told him, come to my house, man of God, you must eat. He said, okay. He said, when the man of God when they went to the man's house, this man said to him that you are the second person I have hosted as a pastor to eat in my house. The first person was Papa Mobai, and you're the second person. Finished eating. And the person told him that one of the problems I have in life is that people hardly bless me. People hardly remember me. I am blessed, no doubt. But people I have helped, none of them has ever remembered me. He said he told him that, sir, before the end of this program, you will testify. That narrative will change. He said the man laughed. Cunning laughter and all that. Listen. He said the man was not going to Abuja the following morning. At the airport, somebody ran to him who he gave job at an NPC 15 years ago. Gave him an envelope. The man put in the bag, said, sorry, sir, I'm still coming to see you in the office. Since you gave me this work, I've not seen you. So he said he got to Abuja. He was not care. Opened the envelope. What he saw there was $10,000. So that made him to return to that program in the evening. Part of that program. So they came back. And came after coming, he went to the pastor's office. Listen. He went to the pastor's office. And said, man of God, just that yesterday, look at what you said. Things are already happening. Somebody for the first time gave me $10,000. Brought out $5,000 and gave to him. And gave to the pastor, his own pastor. And told him, take 2.5 and give this man of God you brought 2.5. Which was the man of God that was with yesterday. Then as the man of God is, anytime you are in my city, make sure you visit me. Make sure you come to my house. Don't enter this city without coming to my house. So he said he now entered the city and went to the man's house. On reaching there, he saw that bishop's wife in the man's house. He said he went there again to see the man. He saw the bishop's wife. He said, so it's like the bishop's wife when I told the husband that this your friend is coming to our member's house. He said the anniversary he booked him for, he cancelled it and called somebody else to come and preach. That he was so sure. That he was in UK. He was in UK coming back and they told you at the program, you're not preaching again. Somebody is taking your stead. And he was very angry. So he was not sharing with me that what that bishop did to him was very wrong. I called because I had some team of persons that went with me yesterday for the program. I didn't want to talk about it. This afternoon I called him. I said, what did you learn from that conversation yesterday? Because he was with me in the hotel room. I said, what did you learn? He said, nothing. I told him, see what I learned. When somebody introduces you to somebody, never you go behind to go and meet the person. Even if the person gives you the permission, gives you his number right before the person, anytime you want to go through that person. That is called discipline. Till today, this man of God have not seen anything wrong on why he should be treated the way he was treated. But he failed in that area. Some of you, somebody will give you a card. Honorable, he's here. We are in BC. He was sharing with me the contact God gave to him and the open door. And I called him. I said, the young man that gave you this contact, what have you done for him? He said, no, it's just his friend. I said, shut up your mouth. Go and look for something and send to him after this program. He may not need it. He may not need it. But by so doing, you have solidified that contact. Tomorrow, he will be able to speak boldly about you anywhere. That man may be blessed. You think just that act of kindness can change everything. He said, Daddy, God bless you, sir. Thank you for this thing you have told me. I am going to do it right away. Even though the guy is not in the country, he will call him and tell him to give him his account details. Discipline. If saying yes to an honorable member will make your relationship with your fellow pastor be in the mud, what do? Say no. If you miss that honorable member, God has more honorable members in the future. I told you that discipline may be painful, but it is gainful. The gain will always compensate the pain. One of the down payments for excellence is discipline. Discipline is the mystery behind distinctions in life. Discipline. It is a mystery behind distinctions in life. No one ever gets distinguished in life without discipline. If you must distinguish yourself amongst your peers, you must learn to be disciplined. Please, before I forget this, another area young pastors have to be disciplined on is in the area of time. Time. T-I-M-E. If you know how time has robbed some supposed great men of their greatness, you will not play with time. They give you 10 minutes. They give you 10 minutes to talk, and you use 7 minutes talking nonsense. Entering portals, finding portals to enter. When you have not entered portals, you now want to start ministering. You have 1 minute. You say, please, just give me a little time. I'm coming. Just little time, I'm coming. You will not come there again. There are pastors that will not smell this altar again. They are very gifted. They are still my friends. I love them very well. But this altar, they will not climb on it. One came, preached on a Sunday. We had another service. People were waiting outside. He was preaching. People were leaving church. People were leaving church. He was still preaching. And he said, give me some more time. I'm running up 30 minutes ago. I was just, whatever he was saying there to me was nonsense. I was just waiting for him to land. And that was it. He never came. He will never. Even if he tells me he has changed, unless I hear God say to me, bring him. Can I say this? And I hear people say this in the old, give me old religion. The best of God is not in the past. If you think you have heard of the move of God in the past, you are yet to hear more dangerous move of God in this current dispensation. And this dispensation, one of the things that will make you to make impact is time. Time. You went to a place, they gave you mic to sing. After singing, your time, we showing you time up. Let me sing this one last more. Obuli wo melu haya haya. I told Honorable Chimde in Atimbise, Ebusi was singing, and I asked them to carry chairs. Pack chairs in your head and all that. I told him that, with this little thing, this can deny him the privilege of standing in great altars, especially where there is excellence. He told me that Chioma Jesus did it at Experience. I asked him, has she gone there again? They will be hailing you that time. But there is a structure on ground. Don't go to people's people and be able to do anyhow. There is a young boy in the world that sings. The reason I've never called him again, he's very good. He sings very well. I invited you to come and sing. This boy climbed my altar. Let me climb. I was singing. Yes, you, come. Stand there. You, come. He now pointed, the one that now broke the Kelmer's back, my guest singer. Guest singer that came from Enugu, hey, you, sister, please come. And began to give them prophecy. I didn't call you to prophesy. I called you to sing. And you are prophesying. He has never stepped here. And he will never step here again. He will never. He will never. This young man is not here. What's his name? Praise Prince. That day, Praise Prince tried it. His own luck was I called him, I warned him. Because he was a son to I warned him, never you again. My protocol will be, they will jack you and get it out. Who told you? Who sent you? To my lay hand on. They will hijack you and jack you out of this church. Discipline. You can never enjoy lasting progress in your ministry or in your assignment without self-discipline. You can never enjoy lasting progress in your assignment or ministry without self-discipline. Please write this down. Discipline produces maturity. And maturity is a baseline for responsibility. I take it again. Discipline produces maturity, and maturity is the baseline for responsibility. So until you are disciplined, you are not matured and you are not responsible. Maturity is not about age. Responsibility is not about age. It is about discipline. It's about discipline. Discipline produces maturity, and maturity is a baseline for responsibility. Discipline is a fundamental requirement for exploit and impact. Discipline is a fundamental requirement for exploit and impact. Write this down. You must also recognize that discipline is not a gift. Discipline is not a gift, but a lifestyle of choices we design to submit to. Discipline is not a gift, but a lifestyle of choices we design to submit to. Daniel was able to make impact not because he was too anointed, but because he was disciplined. Daniel 1:8. He said, but Daniel proposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. From scriptures we see how highly disciplined Daniel was. Proverbs 31 verse 4. It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, not for the prince's strong drink. And look at verse 5. Lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. There are attitude that has eaten you up. It takes a measure of discipline to break out from such attitude. It takes a measure of discipline. There was a boy I wanted to help in this town. If I talk more, you people will know who I'm talking. Some people here will know what I'm talking about. So let me just leave it like that. So one day somebody called me. He said, Bishop, I have seen, he sent me his picture. He said, do you know this boy? Because I've seen him preach for you. I've seen you. I said, yes, now I know him. He's a pastor. He said, okay, did you see what he's doing? I said, yes, I can see it. I saw a cigarette in his hand. He was smoking at Mimi's place. All Seasons. All Seasons is my hotel. So and even you, if you are close to me, don't ever lodge there. They will tell me. They will call me and tell me. They will call me and tell me. Cigarette in his hand, smoking. I said, is this still there? And I said, it's there. I said, can you do it? He said, yeah, sure, you can do a video. He did a video of him, sent to me. His leg was. That was the last day he came here. That was the last day. Smoking. It could be a weakness. It could be an attitude problem. But you must be able to discipline yourself to break away from it. Somebody will say, cigarette, right? It's not in the Bible, recorded in the Bible as sin. Carrying your hand, putting in the fire to burn, is it recorded as sin? Talk to me. Is it recorded as sin? But is it a sin? Yes. It is a body God has created. So you are intentionally destroying the body. So when you give to smoking, you are intentionally destroying the body God has created. So it is sin. Nobody commits suicide and goes to heaven, no matter how righteous you were. Nobody. Nobody. I told them here that suicide is the worst sin. Because you are telling God, you didn't create me well. Let me just destroy this body and go. So you have a special place in hellfire. So there are attitudes you need to break away from. And it takes high level of discipline to break away from it. High level of discipline to break away from it. High level of discipline to break away from it. Break away from gossip. Break away from negative talks. Break away from things, from womanizing, manizing. All of them. Some people don't womanize. When a man is womanizing, what was the woman is doing what? Is manizing now. When the woman when the man is womanizing, the woman, when the man is womanizing, the man, whatever is manizing. So whichever one, break away from it. If you don't want to be disqualified for the top, there are attitudes you need to break away from. Careless lifestyle can rob you of your destiny. A careless lifestyle can rob you of your destiny. Some of you are loaded, but lack of discipline is making you look like a failure. When you see a man who is not rising, check that man very well. There is an area of his life he has failed to discipline himself. Proverbs 25:28. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. Proverbs 25:28. The lack of self-control is the absence of discipline. Some of you are useless in your life now because you have failed to discipline yourself. Discipline yourself even in the area of money. Money. Not just women and gossip. In the area of money. Learn to discipline yourself. I don't know if it happens now. Those days, Owerri instrumentalists, I don't know if it happens now. Chides, I don't know if it happened. Owerri instrumentalists, you will call them for a program. They have somebody else that will add 400 naira on top of the money you're supposed to give to them. They will leave you and go for that one. I don't know if it's happening those days. I know a young man I called to come out. Because of 200 naira, somebody added 200 naira on top of the money. He left me and went there. I called him. He said, I said, because he's not here. I said, he was even calling me daddy. Daddy, only I had 200. Yeah, is he now? I don't even hear of his name anymore. Chides, one of your boys saw me a few days ago in bank, GT Bank, talking with a lady. He pretended as if he doesn't know me. One of Chides' boys. One of the ones that sings. He saw me. My children saw. He said, Daddy, see Chides' friend. See Uncle Chides' friend. I said, yes. I purposely stayed out a bit. He was looking at Jerusalem. Me, I faced Jericho. And I left him. Discipline. Young ministers don't have discipline anymore. We are lacking in the area of discipline. My time is gone. I don't know if I can share the next key. Adeze. Pastor Michael. Now 12 and I go come to worry me later. Should I give the next key? Number 2 key is hunger. Hunger. If you want to make impact, you must be hungry. Why do you look for food? Is it because you want to eat? Talk to me. Why do you look for food? You're not talking to me. Why do you look for food? Hunger. Hunger. It is hunger that makes men to eat. Hunger makes men to eat. When you are not hungry and they give you food, there are chances you will waste the food. But okay, when you are hungry, even soured food tastes nice. Nobody makes impact if you are not hungry. Nobody. You want to make impact, you've got to be hungry. You've got to be hungry. When you are hungry, only the object of your hunger can satisfy you. True? When you are hungry, only the object of your hunger can satisfy you. If you are hungry of noodles and they give you fried rice, no matter how you eat the fried rice, you are not satisfied until you see eat that noodles. When you are hungry for impact, until you make impact, you are not satisfied. Satisfied. The reason men are at ease in Zion is because they are no longer hungry. They are no longer hungry. They are no longer hungry. To have more, there must be a level of hunger in you. Until you are hungry for more, you don't deserve more. Until you are hungry for more, you don't deserve more. And one thing about hunger is that when you are hungry, every bitter prize turns sweet. When you are hungry, any bitter price turns sweet. Whatever price you need to pay to satisfy your hunger, no matter how bitter it is, it becomes sweet. The reason men complain every day is because they are not hungry. They are not hungry. Ladies and gentlemen, where hunger stops is where impact will stop. Where hunger stops, that is where impact stops. How can you want more when you have nothing driving you? How can you desire for more when you have nothing driving you? You are praying, Lord, I want to be like that great man of God, but there is no hunger. You are still at ease in Zion. You are still relaxing. You are still folding your hands. Nothing is driving you. Nothing is driving you. It is hunger that drives men to go and walk. Nobody loves hard work. Nobody loves hard work. It is hunger that makes men to go and walk. Oh, Farata Leveniata. Jekereto Shata. What gives value to a food is hunger. What gives value to a food is hunger. If there is no hunger, there will be no value. There will be no value. It shocks me that some of you don't even value what you carry. You don't value what you carry. You don't value what you carry. If you value what you carry, you will not treat yourself the way you treat yourself. My son Pasove was preaching last time. He said some people value their phone more than their life. They are falling down to an accident. Instead of them to hold themselves, they are trying to hold the phone. Hunger. Hunger. There must be deposit of hunger that will trouble your spirit man. That will trouble your spirit man. A level of hunger that will keep you unsatisfied. You wake up in the morning, it doesn't matter what you see, you are still asking God for more. Asking God for more. We run 4 services. I am asking God for more. Last year, I noticed that every time I finish preaching the 4th service, I'm tired. I begin to shout, I'm tired though. It became a pattern. Nah, I'm tired, my body is shattered. And one day I heard God said to me, only 4 service, you are tired. That means you are not qualified for the 5th service. Since that day, I never used the word, I am tired. Lord, I am ready. Even up to 10 services. 10 services. Matthew 5 verse 6. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst afterward righteousness, for they shall be filled. Can we rephrase it? Blessed are those which do hunger and thirst after impact, for they shall be filled. For they shall be filled. There is no impact without hunger. No impact without hunger. The reason men are no longer hungry is because they are not out to make impact. They are out for popularity. There are 2 different things. They are out for popularity. So whatever they can cut and join to make them popular, they do it. But if you must make impact, you don't cut and join things. It flows from inside, out of your belly. Shall flow. Out of your belly shall flow. Not rivers of dead water. Not rivers of dead water. Rivers of living water. Every day, always fresh. They heard you yesterday, and they are hearing you today again. And it looks as though they didn't hear from you yesterday. You sang yesterday. You are singing today. And it looked as though you didn't sing yesterday. Because every time you show up fresh. Only hunger makes you fresh in this kingdom. Only hunger. Only hunger. There is a French proverb, brother, a French adage that states that a good meal ought to begin with hunger. A good meal ought to begin with hunger. Can I rephrase? A good impact ought to begin with hunger. With hunger. Men who make impact are men who are hungry. Not men who are satisfied. Some of you, the way you are looking, you are not even hungry. You are not hungry. You are not hungry. You are not hungry. I tell my people, if nothing wakes you up every morning, you are still sleeping, even though you are awake. If nothing wakes you up, if you woke up in the morning because it was morning, you are still sleeping. Bishop Oyedepo went to his school and was asking them, what do you do when you want to read at night? One raised his hand and says, I will take coffee. When we take coffee, we stay awake. And one looked at him and asked him, Papa, what do you do to stay awake? He said, responsibility. Responsibility. Some of you are sleeping too much. You start sleeping from 8 p.m. to 10 a.m. 8 p.m. to 10 a.m. And somebody is telling you, if you don't sleep for 30 hours, for 12 hours a day, you have removed 30 hours from your life. Oga, what is the essence of staying 100 years here on earth without impact? Without impact. Men will only remember you for the impact you have made. Amen. You want to live forever without impact, you will be forgotten. The reason they put people's name on their grave is because they didn't make impact. When men make impact, nobody writes their name on their grave. Because generation to come will still speak of them. So many people never saw Bishop Peter, Archbishop Bessie Dahosa, but they keep hearing the name because of the impact he made. There were great generals in his time. Nobody even knows them. Impact. Be hungry. Be hungry for more. The best of God is not in your yesterday. If God used you massively last year, then there is every probability He can use you much more better this year. But how hungry are you? How hungry are you for it? How hungry are you? A new dimension and level in God must begin with hunger. With hunger. A new dimension and level in God must begin with hunger. Let me close by saying this. Let me just give you 3 facts or 2 facts about hunger. Media, give me 5 minutes. Let me work with it. Let me give you 2 facts about hunger. Number 1, hunger means you are alive and healthy. Hunger means what? You are alive and what? Healthy. If you are sick, one of the symptoms that you are sick is lack of appetite. When your spirit man is no longer hungry, that means what? Your spirit man is sick. And there are so many spirits in our body here that are sick because there is no hunger. The proof of hunger is that you are alive and healthy. Anybody who is dead does not care for food. Anyone who is sick, you will be begging them, try and eat now. Try and eat so that the drugs will work. He's sick. If they are still begging you to fellowship with divinity, you are still being begged to serve God, to do the things of God. You are still being cajoled to do the things of God, to pray. Your spirit man is sick. Hi. Number 2. I have 3 more minutes. Growth starts with hunger. Growth starts with hunger. You experience a rapid walk with God, or in your Christian walk with God, when there is a deep hunger in you. Of course, if you are not hungry, you won't grow. 1 Peter 2:2. 1 Peter 2 and verse 2. As newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby. A hunger well satisfied will result to spiritual growth. There is always room for hunger. There is always room for hunger. Listen to me, you can even pray for hunger. Just in case you are losing your appetite to spiritual things, you can begin to pray for hunger. It doesn't matter what you have seen in God. There is much more about God than what we have seen. There is much more about God than what we have seen. To have more of God is to be hungry for more. To have more of God is to be hungry for more. Is to be hungry for more. Please write this down. Be thankful for what God is doing in your life. Be thankful for what God is doing in your life. But be hungry for more. I don't want you to leave this service with the mentality and begin to go and begin to say, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. And you fail to ignore the things God is doing in your life or how far God has brought you. Did that just make sense? Be thankful for God, but be hungry for more. And write this down. If you are not hungry, you are not ready. If you are not hungry, you are not ready. There are depths in God we can't access until you are hungry for more. God is willing to do more, The question becomes, how hungry are you? You can make impact from wherever you are. Never you say your problem is location. John the Baptist was in the wilderness and he made impact. From that wilderness, the world may gather to hear you. One of my sponsors, she was the regional quality assurance manager of Coca-Cola years back. Every meeting I had, she sponsors them. Just give her the bill, she gives you the money. First is Glory I had in 2010. She gave me 2 million for it. Any meeting I have, she writes it off. One day, American embassy called her and told her, we are tired of giving you visa. We want to give you green card. Go and have green card, so you don't need to be coming writing for visa. And she told them, I can't accept your green card if you don't give my pastor to a visa, even though I know he's qualified for it. He wrote to them. They accepted. They said, send his details with your details. She called me, I went to Port Harcourt. I saw table wine, table decorated. What is it? She showed me the letter from her email that the American embassy has headed to give me visa and give her a green card. That was what she wrote. I told her, let me go and pray about it. I prayed, God said, I didn't send you to America. You were in South Africa. I asked you to come back to Nigeria. I told her I'm not going. She couldn't believe her eyes. My mom heard of it. My mom said, powers from my father's house is really holding me. My bishop friends, I heard it, they couldn't believe it. I said, I'm not going. Why? God told me, stay in Owerri. In a matter of years, men will come to America, from America to hear you preach and go back. You will go to America on Monday, come back on Friday. America will be like going to Abba. You see what I've told you, mark it down. Because those of you who follow me on Facebook, very soon begin to see it. I just landed in America with my team of pastors. Friday we are back to Owerri for service. We don't need to go and spend 2 days in America. 2 days is enough. America is not heaven. That's when people get visa and do Thanksgiving. I'm bothered. Why are you doing Thanksgiving? Because you got visa. It's not a ticket to heaven. Ticket to heaven. And I said, Lord, if I tell you the price I have paid to get to where I am, if I tell you the price I have paid to get to where I am, is hunger. It's hunger that will make you carry 1 million, give to another pastor who does not preach better than you. Hunger. You want to see what is working for him, work for you. Hunger. 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 It's hunger that will make you close your account. I brought a pastor this January. I gave him 1 million on another. Hunger. It is hunger. I spent 1.1 million to bring him. Flight ticket, hotel bill. Put him in the best hotel in the city. Hunger. Everything 2.1 million. Hunger. You're not trying to boast. No, hunger. That money can buy a land. I'll give my son a book. I'll go and buy land for me. Resell it when the price increases. It's big money. But I am not satisfied. Satisfied. I see him pastor 10,000 members, 8,000 members, 3 services. And I'm here with 400, 500. I'm thinking, no nonsense. Somebody, pastor came here and said, man of God, I pray to the Lord to be like you. I say, God forbid, don't pray that prayer again. I am not satisfied where I am. Hunger. I am still hungry for more. Hungry for more. Men of God come into town. They are not preaching for me. I will go and honor them. It is hunger. I have sense. You think I don't have sense? I have sense. Hunger. It is hunger that makes you do some things on a good day you cannot naturally do. Hunger. These people that are not hungry now, go to their churches, it will show. Churches. They will put one big seat. And the seat will now have layer where they will put their leg. On the seat, they will crest their name on the seat. Yeah, you don't have good sound. They're in Bacha. How can somebody spend 200,000 to build one seat? Just to sit on. Hi. Ochieze. Just to sit on. That person does not have hunger. When you have hunger, it does not matter where you sit, as long as Jesus is glorified. It doesn't matter as long as Jesus is glorified. Hunger. There is nothing you cannot have if you are hungry for it. Don't play that song for me. Play on that song. That song is not it's not glorifying God. Hunger. Be hungry for more. Be hungry for more. Stand to your feet.